It's really exciting, to be honest. I think all around the world, any player that's on the international circuit or in the T20 circuit wants to be a part of the Super Kings family. It's a team that has a long history of success, and I think that's the reason why players are always intrigued. When you're looking at it from the outside, you always want to be a part of it to see why the franchise is so successful. So, for me, it's no different. I've always wanted to be a part of the Super Kings and work, with the people behind the scenes, because, having played for so many teams, you realize that, players are one thing, but what makes a franchise is what happens behind the scenes. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I've already experienced a little bit of it to see why the franchise does so well. And being my home franchise as well, Joburg. So it's almost like a full circle for me. As a youngster, I used to go to the same nets with hopes and dreams of one day making it as an international cricketer. So to now play for the Super Kings in Joburg, it's a very special feeling. So I think from a young age, I always wanted to, be a cricketer in South Africa, especially there's a lot of sports in school. So during summer you play cricket, and during winter you have the option of playing rugby or hockey. So seasonally you have a lot of sports that are offered to you, and you are expected to play all different sports, and it's different terms in schools. But for me, for some reason, I just had this obsession with cricket. So even during the winter months, I would make excuses and not play those sports, and just, in that time after school, try and practice my bowling and stuff like that. So I think from a young age, that's all I wanted to do. I always wanted to be a cricketer. My magic tricks and stuff come into it as well. That's because probably up until the age of 15, I really wanted to be a magician as well. But then after the under 15 level, when I started making the provincial team and stuff, you start realizing okay, I can really do this. I'm making progress in the game. So the magic tricks took a backseat, and cricket really took over. And yeah, I was clear in one thing. I only wanted to play cricket. So yeah, I think that's why I'm not good at any other sports. It was actually a choice made when I was 14 years old. So I used to actually be a seam bowler. Obviously in South Africa there's no culture of spin bowling. So watching guys like Alan Donald and Sean Pollock and Jack Cullis and these kind of guys, everybody, all the kids want to emulate those heroes of ours. So when I was in primary school, I used to open the bowling. But when I got to high school and we had under 14 trials, one of the coaches actually came and put his arm around my shoulder, and he said, "Listen, my boy, you actually don't bowl quick enough to be a fast bowler." So at that point, that was like a heart-shattering moment for me, because I've been dreaming about opening the bowling for South Africa one day. And he told me, "Look, why don't you maybe try and bowl spin, because you're not quick enough to be a fast bowler." And that's how I started bowling spin. So coming to wrist spin, one of the coaches at the trials told me to bowl finger spin, left arm orthodox, and the other one said, "No, you should bowl wrist spin." So, it's crazy to think that at the age of 14, I went and I asked them why, each one, why do you want me to bowl finger spin, and the other one, why do you want me to bowl wrist spin? So the coach that told me to bowl finger spin said, it's because it's easier to control. And maybe it's just my nature and whatever it is, that feistiness. In that moment, I decided I'm not going to bowl finger spin, because the only reason he's telling me is because it's easier. So I said to myself at that moment, why should I take the easier option? I'm going to make sure that I work extra hard so that I can control wrist spin. Yeah, look, obviously family plays a huge role, I suppose, for every single cricketer that's sitting here, because without the support of your family, you can't make it. Because, in those younger years, when you need to be focusing on cricket, they allow you the opportunities to be able to, focus on your game. If they were not there to support you through your years when you're trying to make it, there's no ways that you can make it. So, of course, families played a huge role in me being able to, do what I'm doing. Even at this point, as you move on, you get married, you have kids, then wives come into play. So you know, that's a tough role that they play as well, because we can't perform if they're not taking care of things at home. I know the fans would love for me and Imi to be bowling together, myself as well. I feel like a little kid, you know, the prospect of me and Imi bowling together. You know, we spent a lot of years together in the national team, but we hardly ever played together. You know, it was one playing and not the other one playing. So we got very few games together, but you know, we have this sort of a bond. Obviously, he's a lot senior than me, but you know, we've always had that mutual respect where we've tried to learn from each other and ask each other for advice. And it's a big thing coming from a, you know, a great bowler like Imi, where I was so much younger than him and at that point had no experience, but he would also ask me for advice about what I think about his bowling, you know. So those sort of things, we've developed that relationship where we know we can count on each other. And of course, you know, if we're both on the field, then the celebrations are going to be explosive as well. That shoe celebration, I think it's very misunderstood. A lot of people take it as like a disrespect towards the batter or whatever, but it has nothing to do with the batsman actually. So, you know, sometimes when we take a wicket, the umpire in the middle speaks to the third umpire to confirm if it's out or not out. So that's just a fun way of me taking my shoe off and calling the third umpire to confirm if it's out or not out. So it actually has nothing to do with the batter. You know, the kids love it, they enjoy it. So I like to enjoy myself because, you know, at the end of the day, cricket's not going to last forever. We all have to stop. So my goal was always, you know, for as long as I'm playing, I must enjoy myself, I must entertain the people and make memories, you know, for myself. I have a kid now as well, and for my family. Just because, you know, once it's done, we're all going to miss playing. So while I'm playing, I want to make the absolute most of it and just enjoy myself.